and IAS officer Dr. S. Selvakumar. The charge was of their involvement in a wide-ranging corruption scheme comprising fraud, document forgery, conspiracy to illegally acquire government land and facilitating the unlawful appropriation of public property. Now, one of the main claims was the alleged allocation of 5 acres of land to the Sidda Vihar Trust linked to the Kharge family. The allegations, running into 394 pages of documents, focused on 2 separate government agencies allocating properties to the Sidda Vihar Trust. Even as a major controversy broke out on the acquisition of land, chairman of the Sidda Vihar Trust and elder brother of Priyank Kharge, Rahul M. Kharge, wrote to the CEO of Karnataka Industrial Areas Development Board or KIADB requesting withdrawal of its request for setting up a multi-skill development center, training institutes and a research center. Now, the thing is that the letter explained the core intent of the land and as follows. The proposed multi-skill development center aimed primarily to save youngsters to make them more employable and industrial ready with skills and future skills. It was also designed to help students who were unable to pursue college education. Furthermore, the trust also had conceptualized a center of excellence intended to offer research and incubation opportunities for students and aspiring entrepreneurs for roles in high-tech industries. We do not wish to be drawn into controversies which will divert our attention and efforts from our primary objective of empowering the disempowered through education and social service. In light of these circumstances, we respectfully withdraw our proposal and request the board to cancel the allotment of CSI. Now, Priyank Kharge, who is the brother of Rahul Kharge, took it upon himself to announce the return of land by his brother, and this is what Priyank Kharge said. Only 3 of us from the family are in politics. My elder brother is a soft-spoken individual who has expressed distress over the attacks our family has faced. On 20th of September, he wrote to KIADB to return the land, stating that the allocation would be legally handed back.
हमारे मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट लहर सिंह सुरैया जी ने इस विषय को टेकअप भी किया हुआ है और वहां पर सीएजी ने जो अपनी रिपोर्ट में पॉइंट आउट किया 2017 से, उसमें लिखा है टू आस्क द कमेटी टू फिक्स द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी फॉर वायलेटिंग द गाइडलाइंस ऑफ द कोर्ट ऑर्डर एंड सजेस्ट द एप्रोप्रिएट कोर्स ऑफ एक्शन अगेंस्ट द डिफॉल्टिंग ऑफिशियल्स फॉर द डिलीशन ऑफ द लैंड अंडर कैटेगरी ए। इसका अर्थ क्या हुआ कि यदि आज कांग्रेस पार्टी के नेता सिद्धारमैया जी हों या खड़गे जी हों, वो जमीन वापस कर रहे हैं तो कोई जमीर नहीं जागा है जो जमीन वापस कर रहे हैं। अदालत की कार्रवाई से में होने वाली जलालत से बचने के लिए वो जमीन वापस कर रहे हैं कि कांग्रेस पार्टी आकंठ भ्रष्टाचार में डूबी है और जमीनों के घोटाले में कुछ ऐसी कांग्रेस को जमीन से लगाव है कि जहां जहां सत्ता में आती है, हरियाणा हो, राजस्थान हो, छत्तीसगढ़ हो, कर्नाटक हो, जमीन के साथ इनका विवाद जरूर जुड़ जाता है और जिस स्तर तक इनके सभी नेता इसमें आरोपित हैं, तो कोई ये नहीं कह सकता कि ये कोई आइसोलेटेड सिंगल केस है।
खड़गे परिवार और कांग्रेस के नेता केआईडीबी हो, मूडा हो, इन संस्थाओं को अपना घरेलू संस्थाएं समझते हैं। जब चाहा अलॉट करवा लिया और जब चाहा वापस दे दिया। ये बड़े दुख की बात है और शर्म की बात है कि जब हाईकोर्ट में केस चल रहा है, मूडा का पूरा मामला हाईकोर्ट के विचाराधीन है और हाईकोर्ट के अनुसार उस पर जांच हो रही है, ऐसे में 14 प्लेट को वापस किया कैसे जा सकता है और मूडा उनको एक्सेप्ट कैसे कर सकता है। इसी तरह से ये जो केआईडीबी का लैंड है, इसके खिलाफ जो कंप्लेंट दी हुई है माननीय राज्यपाल जी के यहाँ, उस कंप्लेंट के आधार पर अभी जांच होनी बाकी है, जांच की मांग की जा रही है। उन्होंने वापस 5 एकड़ जमीन लौटा दी। एक तो ये तो दर्शाता है कि उनका उसमें अपराध है और उन्होंने गलत तरीके से जमीन ली है, लेकिन इसका निर्णय जांच होने के पहले वापस देना और ये केआईडीबी जैसी संस्थाएं ऐसा कब जब चाहे वो नेता कहें अलॉट कर दे, जब चाहे वापस ले ले, ऐसा नहीं हो सकता। इस सारे मामले की जांच होनी चाहिए। और यही नहीं, मान्यवर खरगे जी पर एक आरोप और भी है, जो 19 एकड़ जमीन जो गुलबर्गा में उनके ट्रस्ट को दी गई थी, वो गलत ढंग से दी गई थी और सीएजी की रिपोर्ट है जिसका उल्लेख किया जा चुका है मेरे आगे भी स्टेटमेंट में। उस 19 एकड़ जमीन का अभी बाकी एक उन्होंने इलीगल तरीके से उसको फ्री गिफ्ट दे दिया गया उनके फैमिली ट्रस्ट को। ये बिल्कुल गलत हुआ है, तो उसकी भी जांच होनी चाहिए। और एक और बात, आदरणीय खरगे जी और उनका परिवार क्या राज्य को और देश की जनता को बताएगा कि उन्होंने पिछले 10-15 वर्षों 20 वर्षों में कहां और कितनी जमीनें अपने ट्रस्ट के नाम से, अपने परिवार के नाम से अलॉट कराई है।
Land seems to be at the center of creating major problems for the Congress party and of course the Karnataka government. Chief Minister Siddaramaiah's wife Parvati had also recently returned the sites to Mysore Urban Development Authority or MUDA following allegations of irregularities over the allocation. What are these land deals in Karnataka, for God's sake? Using influence to get major chunks by the ruling party or just some noise made by the opposition? Let's try to deep dive into this to understand. Joining me on this debate is Nizam Fauzdar, General Secretary and Spokesperson for the KPCC, and Ananda Gurumurthy, Spokesperson for the BJP in Karnataka. We are also awaiting S. Rajasekara, who is a senior journalist, but that will happen in some time. First up, Nizam Fauzdar, I have been reading all the statements given by Priyank Kharge, and I have one question to ask you, and without really training your guns at the BJP, please answer this. I'd be grateful, Nizam Fauzdar. He says all the rules were followed. There was absolutely no hanky-panky. We followed due diligence. So, I am asking you, Nizam Fauzdar, that when all the rules were followed, then why was the land returned by Mr. Rahul M. Kharge?
The question today is this here. This one.
Okay.
And this one.
India's most corrupt state.
Correct? Now the question today that we need to ask is, 2 times the BJP government came in this state. Both the times, a magazine like Outlook says the most corrupt state government in the entire country is the Karnataka state government ruled by the BJP. ये करप्ट लोग आज जब जमीन वापस देते हैं तो पूछते हैं क्यों दे दिया भाई। जब जमीन गवर्नमेंट उनकी गवर्नमेंट अलॉट करती है, देन दे आस्क अस व्हाई हैव यू टेकन द लैंड। द बीजेपी इज इन अ कंफ्यूज्ड स्टेट दैट व्हाई शुड वी आस्क क्वेश्चन एंड हाउ वी शुड आस्क अ क्वेश्चन, and they don't really know why they are making a halla gulla about it. So they raised a question. The family of Mr. Kharge said on a moral ground we will return it back. If we keep the land, they will say देखो land हड़प लिया. So when we are giving back the land, the no sale deed has happened. The transfer deed has not happened. It is just a mere allocation to a trust, and the trust has said no, we don't want the land now. And in the same case, the BJP is saying, look, they are feeling guilty and that's why they're returning.
No, I am asking you,
the land.
Nizam, let's just focus on this. It's your government now. You had a fabulous victory. You came to power. Your guarantees, everything seemed to be working for you. Why did? Because when this story broke, when around 27th of September, I remember this very well. When it became big, before that there were chutput here there. Local papers were there. Then the national papers took it up. I am asking you, at that time Priyank Kharge and even Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge vehemently denied. They said there is no influence, there is no nepotism, this has been taken for empowering the poor, students who cannot otherwise afford it. Now why do you return the land? Suddenly what has happened? Now how will you empower the poor? What has gone, what is so moralistic about it unless you are guilty? Like Parvati, she has returned the land voluntarily. There is a process. Muda said, you returning, come. Come in person, we sign it. But in this case also they return the land. It's like I buy some goods from you, I don't think it's good for me, I return it to you. So there is some kind of problem. No. You can't.
No. Abhi, you are saying how will we empower the poor? How will we educate the poor? How will we train the poor? Now we will take the land with the donated money. We will seek the funds from our public. देखो भाई, अभी हमें लोगों को empower करना है, हम लेंगे और बनाएंगे.
अच्छा.
ये सरकार की जमीन आए या ना आए, लेकिन अपना काम हम जरूर करेंगे. बीजेपी के लोग कितना भी चाहे, let them keep
It's not
shouting
the
at the top
BJP,
of their
Nizam.
voice.
It's the Kannadigas,
will not,
people
but
who voted
we
for
have-
you.
we felt-
We voted for you. A lot of us voted for you. So I'm saying you are answerable to the people who voted for you. Keep politics out of this. This is clearly not about politics. This is about morality. Nizam Faujdar, Anand Gurumurthy, spokesperson for the BJP. What is this? First they go to town and they say no rules were okay. Do you agree, first of all, Anand, that no rules were broken? Because I'm not someone who understands legalese. But I'm asking you something, even in the Muda case, there is something called
Sorry,
influence.
Sidda, I'm not able to hear you. Sidda, can you repeat the last sentence, please?
Can you hear me now, Anand? Hi,
Yes,
Anand.
now it's fine. Yeah.
So I'm saying that two cases have happened. I want to ask you, Anand Gurumurthy, that do you think rules were broken? Because I see it as influence. Even if you don't break rules, suppose I know you and I want entry to, let us say, a famous temple. I'll say, Anand, can you help me? I'm using my influence. No, I'm friends with you. Influence is also something which is, in this kind of a case, 5 acres of land parcel. This is clearly nepotism and influence. Would you agree, Anand Gurumurthy?
Sidda, before I speak as a BJP spokesperson, I would like to speak as a citizen of this part of the country, born and brought up in Bengaluru. See, when in 1980s, when we were kids, this part, Bengaluru or Karnataka, was not, the real estate part was not as big as it is today. Similarly, in all across India, you can see that real estate part was not big. Most of the engineers, doctors then and their children may hold maybe a plot in Bengaluru, 60-40, 2,400 square feet, or maybe 2 plots, 3 plots, max. That's the max a person can earn. But if you see the political framework, whichever party, across the parties, everybody is running behind land, okay, which is not at all acceptable. And everybody knows that if you hold that, then you hold on to power. So this is something which is killing our country, because even Nizam will agree with me on this, okay? Because this is not something, which will let growth of the country. Because if somebody holds on to the land and you pay, if you ask any businessman in and around Bengaluru, the rent that they pay to run their business is so huge that they cannot do business properly. This is happening, okay? Now, this is the fundamental question that is happening. Now, again, why this is happening? Most of the people in power are grabbing things, using their power, their money power comes later. First they use their power and then, collect money to do all this. Along with this, Kharge ji's case here, and Siddaramaiah ji's case there, in his Siddaramaiah ji's wife's 14 sites allotment, if you see, there not only they use this, power to get things to their side, but they now are not, were not ready to agree to the political questions that we asked. So finally, we did the yatra, padayatra, everything. Then finally, when it came to the courts, the people who brought it to the courts were not, the political backed people. They were individuals who brought it to the RTI activists. When it came to the court and the court started questioning, they are returning it. So we are very clear, okay, if you have stolen something and if you return it, it becomes a crime.
I said that.
It's a crime.
I said that. I mean, this is not children. These are elected representatives, I say. This is influence. When the Congress can go blue in the face saying, oh, influence, they have to stand, they have to be guilty of this. I'm going to take a break, but let me introduce S. Rajasekhara, senior journalist who's also joined us. Once I come back after the break, I will speak to Rajasekhara. Thank you.
Let yourself flow with the turn of each tide.
Salty winds, you sweeten your ride.
Maharashtra,
Maharashtra, it's a hit.
Maharashtra tourism.
How do you fulfill that promise? Because ultimately expectations have to be met. If you look at the political landscape, is it really changing for women? And what is the inability of the forces that dead bodies surface but not the living people?
It's said that out of 7 diamonds across the world, 5 are cut and polished in India.
Don't forget, US is the largest consumer of, polished diamonds and the diamond jewelry. And that has taken a big beating for multiple reasons, but largely because of the consumer spending going down on these items. And that's essentially what has hit the diamond industry.
We are at a brim where you see not just one, but multiple very strong global brands coming out of India. And we will make a global market. I'm convinced about that.
This and more. Streaming on News9 plus news is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
All right, that's the main story. Rahul Kharge, who's the son of Mallikarjun Kharge, returns the disputed land. And I have with me S. Rajasekhara, senior journalist. S. Rajasekhara, I've been asking this question of both Nizam Faujdar as well as Anand Gurumurthy, that I don't understand that when Priyank Kharge says all the rules were followed, you remember the story broke almost a month ago, and they went to town saying, this is BJP's plan, strategy, they want to besmirch our reputation, etc. Then Muda happened, then Mrs. Parvati Siddaramaiah returns it, and now Rahul, whom of course Priyank Kharge, and I respect that he's from IIT, soft spoken, not political at all, he also decides to return it. Don't you think that this is clearly a case of influence more than anything? I do not know what was exchanged. I do not have those documents. I haven't seen Ramesh's documents, 394 page of, supporting documents. I have not. I'll honestly tell you, Rajasekhara. But what is this? That I steal your pen and then I say, sorry, I just stole it, take it back. A crime is a crime is a crime, right?
Absolutely. There is no doubt about it. Influence is quite obvious here in this case. But I have a question, so just to ponder, not defending anybody. Just because he's somebody's son and daughter, somebody's husband, wife, shouldn't they get to do things that others can do?
Sure.
That is a question. So that is one thing. And the second point here is being in such a influential position, the entire family from Senior Kharge to Priyank. I think this is an unwanted controversy that the family taken up. And if we go back to a few days about Ashoka's case, BJP's opposition leader in the assembly, he said that very tamely and very sheepishly, I returned before the case is filed, so there is no crime. So I think this is also kind of a preempting effort to avoid any cases being filed against Kharge's family, to avoid any controversy. And there is also, I believe strongly, there is a political calculation to this returning of the plot. There is a talk of changing the chief minister in the state, and Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, being very senior, respected leader in Karnataka and in the Congress across the country. He is said to be one of the persons being considered for the top post in Karnataka.
Okay. All right.
So just avoid all these controversies, just to preempt, and like what Ashoka said, probably they would have taken a leaf out of Ashoka's case and returned the plot even before a case is filed.
All right.
So they can always say that there is no case because I returned the file.
You know what, Rajasekhara, I would expect them, because they came to power because they said 40% Sarkara. You remember their campaign.
Yes.
You remember how they went to town with PCM. We covered the elections back to back and we saw. Then the contractors, then how Ishwarappa had to resign because of Santosh Patil's death, etc., etc. So many cases. Now the thing is, when you come with so much of moral high ground and moral rectitude, then you follow it. And your first question is, just because someone is your son or your daughter, not at all. But then the question of influence, if there is a controversy, will happen. If my son goes to a premier school and you happen to be the principal of that school and something goes wrong, they will say, well, they are friends. That's why this has happened. That's why you have to be above Caesar's wife. That's what we have to follow. But then it's an idealistic situation. Nizam Fauzdar, do you agree to what Mr. Rajasekhara said, that, you know, Mallikarjun Kharge is possibly lining up, because there are lots of rumors that, you know, it could be G. Parameshwara's. Today, Satish Jarkioli's daughter has said that my dad will be chief minister one day. Sabs baat dekh rahi hain, wo sapne dekh rahi hain. But there are lots of noises. People are meeting for dinner meetings. People are having coffee and tiffin, etc. Do you agree with what Rajasekhara has said, that because Mallikarjun Kharge is being prepped, and that's why this step was taken?
I absolutely agree with the aspirations that Mr. Rajshekhar has. You know, the belief in the leadership that Mr. Rajshekhar has, that, you know, he's one of the tallest leaders, and he's looked for the top job in Karnataka, but he's a AICC president at the top of the top rank in the entire country. And I think it's a speculation that is being cooked around. But the issue, the basic issue that you were talking about, Lata, that we came with a moral high ground. We spoke about the corruption. We spoke about the pay CM. We spoke about that 40% Sarkara. We spoke about various things. And believe me, the cabinet will basically release the document of the corruption done by the BJP in the last 3.5 years. You will see that Parmeshwar is going to release the document that the kind of corruption they did during the pandemic, the kind of corruption they did after the pandemic, and it continued till they demitted the office. And believe me, you will be shocked. This 5 acres and 2 sites and 5 sites and 14 sites will look so minuscule that the BJP
Two wrongs
will
don't
hide
make a
itself.
right. Anand Fauzdar, Nizam Fauzdar, you are
corruption.
forgetting. 2 wrongs don't make a
Sudhaji, there
right.
is
You are
absolute
forgetting
no
about
corruption.
moral rectitude, like you
Sudhaji.
forgot my name yet again and called me Lata. Anand Gurumurthy, I only have 2 minutes left and I want to ask you certain questions. Anand Gurumurthy, this is not, what about tree, something I will not allow on this show. You did this, so I will do this. What are we? Kindergarten kids. I want to ask you, why are there, you know, they say that just because everyone is saying, why blame? Rahul is, I think, a fall guy actually in all this. But I have a question. Everyone is from the Kharge family. This is their trust, sir. Siddharth Vihar. Whether it's Mallikarjun or Priyank or, you know, Radhakrishna, their son-in-law, you know, whether it's Rahul and also his wife, you know, everyone is there, the trust. So, the influence is of the Kharge family. How can they run away from this, Anand Gurumurthy? Can't hear you. Please unmute, Anand. Unmute, Anand. Anand, unmute.
Yeah, see, they came to power telling 40% Sarkara, this, that, okay. Now, let them run their probe. They are in power. Let them run their probe. If something comes out of our people, put them to jail, do whatever the law says. Okay. We are not going to support anybody who is corrupt, okay, whether it's from our party or it. But we take pride in this, that BJP Karnataka is working in a fashion that all these corrupt leaders are returning their stuff, and now they are getting caught in the eyes of law, and people are seeing this. So this is something, you know, phenomenal happening in Indian politics. In our state of Karnataka, this should go on. Leaders should understand that they have a responsibility towards society and not just, you know, accumulating wealth and then calling themselves leaders. No, leadership should be, you know, for the people. It's not about how much money I have and what kind of position I can purchase. That should go away from India. That should go away from my land, Karnataka especially. So this has started, and we are very happy that BJP is working towards it, and we don't mind the collateral damages that may come in the coming days.
All right. Rajasekhara, I want to ask you something. I was pondering over this story this morning. I think it's one of the most difficult phases for Siddaramaiah as a person and for the Karnataka government. Because whatever happens, like under the Muda, you can voluntarily return the sites. There is a rule. The commissioner called them and said, okay, sign here, you can return it. But the point is not just that, no, that I return it. It's not a sari I didn't like that I go and return it. Number 2 is also this Mallikarjun Kharge, what has happened. Mr. Kharge is not directly involved in this, but his family members, and they've done due diligence. But don't you think this is going to be a big blot on the party as well as the government, Rajasekhara? Unmute, sir. Unmute, sir. Thank you.
Obviously, it will be a big embarrassment for the party as well as for Kharge's family. And to Kharge, basically, who has lived a very clean public life compared to many others for such a long time. And this could have been avoided possibly, because it is purely a family trust. And even if due diligence is followed, if all the rules are followed, people will definitely point fingers at the family because they are so influential and they can get the things done their way, even if there is no rules followed. But having said that, even if they followed the rules, it will amount to influence because you are in position of power, because one of his sons is a minister in the cabinet which approved this land through the KIDB board. And so all these could have been avoided, and they could have probably waited for their term, maybe after the Congress government is over, whenever they were not in power, they could have got it done.
All right. On that note, let me thank Mr. Rajasekhara for joining us on the broadcast, but the other two guests, Anand Gurumurthy and Nizam Fauzdar, will continue because the story that we are focusing on is also about Chief Minister Siddaramaiah and about Karnataka, more importantly. So, the story is coming up. Chief Minister Siddaramaiah slams the Centre for Tax Share Bias, claims Karnataka's money funds misgoverned state. That's coming up next.
In the heart of New York, an Indian spectacle unfolds. Step into the world of the elite saga, featuring influential Indians who've rocked the globe. From culinary geniuses,
this has been nothing less than a dream,
to the wisdom of sages.
And which is why success can never be spelt without you.
Discover the stories behind the stars. Experience the magic behind the scenes at the first Indian event at the Statue of Liberty. Watch the Elite Saga streaming only on News9 Plus. Download now.
All right, our second story is a question. It's a story that is also focusing on Karnataka. Siddaramaiah calls for rightful tax share. This has been an ongoing thing where several chief ministers have questioned the centre. Now, Chief Minister Siddaramaiah was in Delhi 8 months ago to protest against discrimination against Karnataka and termed the protest as a movement to protect the interest of Karnataka and Kannadigas and against the stepmotherly treatment meted out by the centre. The needle hasn't moved ever since. It's been 8 months and he has once again hit out very strongly at the centre over injustice in tax distribution. Siddaramaiah reiterated what he has been saying for long, the injustice in tax distribution by the NDA government towards Karnataka, and he said as follows. Of a total of rupees 1,78,193 crores allocated to 28 states, Karnataka has been given a meager rupees 6,400 98 crores. This gross injustice calls for every Kannadiga, irrespective of caste, religion or political affiliation, to pledge to raise their voice against such discrimination. He trained his guns at the union government. He said and rather asked why Karnataka's hard-earned contributions are being used to reward misgoverned and corruption-ridden states. Why should Karnataka be supporting states that have shown no growth whatsoever and only due to their own lack of will to change?
ನಮಗೆ ನ್ಯಾಯಯುತವಾಗಿ ಬರಬೇಕಾದದನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಇಡೀ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರು ಧ್ವನಿ ಎತ್ತಬೇಕು. ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ರಾಜ್ಯಗಳಿಗೆ ಅನ್ಯಾಯ ಆಗಿದೆ ಆ ರಾಜ್ಯಗಳ ಕಡೆಲ್ಲ ಧ್ವನಿ ಎತ್ತಬೇಕು. ನಮಗೆ ಫೆಡರಲ್ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಂಬಿಕೆ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಆದರೆ ಫೆಡರಲ್ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಂಬಿಕೆ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದು ಅನ್ಯಾಯ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದಲ್ಲ. ಫೆಡರಲ್ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಂಬಿಕೆ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಒಪ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಆದರೆ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಹಣಕಾಸಿನ ಆಯೋಗಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಸರಿಯಾದ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿ ನಮಗೆ ನ್ಯಾಯಯುತವಾಗಿ ಕೊಡಬೇಕಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಪಾಲನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿನೂ ಕೂಡ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಿಜೆಪಿಯವರು ಇದನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ರು ಎಲ್ಲ. ಬಿಜೆಪಿಯವರು ಯಾವತ್ತೂ ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ದಿನ ರೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಅವ್ರ ಅಧಿಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಾಗ, ಅಧಿಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರುವಾಗ ಯಾವತ್ತಾರು ರೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾರ? ಒಂದು ದಿನ ಯಾವತ್ತೂ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ರಾಜ್ಯದ್ದು. ಕ್ಷುಲ್ಲಕ ವಿಚಾರಗಳನ್ನು ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದು.
Now let's take a look at the figures released by the Ministry of Finance. Among the southern states, Andhra Pradesh received rupees 7,211 crores, Karnataka 6,498 crores, Kerala 3,430 crores, Tamil Nadu 7,268 crores and Telangana 3,745 crores. Now note this, please. Collectively, these 5 southern states received 15.8% of the total funds, whereas Uttar Pradesh alone accounted for 17.9%. Bihar was yet another major recipient and it received 17,921 crores. Now, Siddaramaiah, second in command, Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar announced that they shall initiate Our Tax, Our Right campaign in the days to come. He also said, why is that union ministers and BJP MPs from the state are not raising their voice for the state in Delhi? The finance minister is elected from Karnataka and there are 3 to 4 other ministers from Karnataka, but none of them have raised their voice regarding this. We want BJP leaders to join hands in this fight. You know what, for many, and I was talking to a lot of people, and these are people who are really learned and also some of the others who are part of the union government. They see this entire argument of tax devolution as fueling the north-south divide. But this obviously is more than that. It's not just about regional, this is about federal cooperation. Let's debate. Of course, we still have Nizam Fauzdar of the Congress and Anand Gurumurthy of the BJP. Anand Gurumurthy, you were just waxing eloquent about Kannadigas, your rights, everything. What do you have to say about this? How unfair is this?
No, Siddaramaiah ji always, takes one number from one book and doesn't present the other number from the other books, which the center is directly, providing to all southern states. For example, the Kochi Metro or the Bengaluru Metro and the electrification of all our railway lines, which were pending, while the North Indian states were more forward because they had many railway ministers who had come from North Indian states. And those days, the railway budget was whichever state I...
Oh, so just because you come from a North Indian state, you will get more of an allocation. What is this? Banana Republic?
No. See, I will tell you something. For the example, in the last 10 years, 100% electrification of all railway lines happened in Karnataka, whereas we were some 10 or 15%, that's also. So, like this, lot of investment has happened from the center side.
Do you think it's unfair, Anand Gurumurthy? Do you think this kind of tax devolution, I'll tell you, I'll give you one figure, Anand. The cess and surcharge, which is collected by the central government, union government, it is around 23% for this financial year. I have got data. That's not shared with the states. Why?
No. See,
why?
There are 2 ways of sharing. That's what I'm trying to tell. Okay, Siddaramaiah only talks about the direct sharing. What about the indirect sharing, which is, development works directly center takes up, like for example, the metros, the railway lines electrification, which are all, direct things, and even the national highway development, and all these gets funds from the center. So this part, Siddaramaiah never talks about. As a CM, he has to hold
the South Indian states generate around 40% of the revenue and bear 60% of expenditure. There has to be reforms in the Finance Commission.
Just give me 30
No,
seconds.
I'll go to...
Not only this. No, not only this. The ports that are getting developed. Do you think these are all long-term investments that the central government is making, and these are also coming back to our places?
Come on, your state and my state, we are more developed. Why is it that I have to all the time subsidize for... I'm not saying one will not.
They're not subsidizing. They are giving equally.
They are giving more. You see the numbers.
For example,
can we put the numbers up? If my colleague
I will tell you one more this thing, then you can go ahead. Okay. In the 1950s and 60s, see, southern states, especially Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, and Karnataka, all these states, especially in Karnataka, I can talk more about that. The Mysore Maharaja had started a lot of factories and other things. So, in 50s, 60s, and 70s, when a lot of money was given for the development of BHEL, BEL, and all these were mushrooming in southern states, even in the northern states, people were talking like this. That time, Ram Manohar Lohia, one of the communist leaders, had told,
socialist, not communist.
Sorry, socialist leader had told, and thanks for correcting me. Socialist leader had told very clearly, our brothers have gone a little forward than us, and now they will go more forward because of these investments. And his words have come true today. The IT sector, when it boomed in 1999 and onwards, right now, what we see, it boomed in the southern states because of all these investments.
But let me also, Nizam Fauzdar, no. This is a very specious, no, you can't take all the time, no, Anand. I have to go to Nizam Fauzdar, no. I mean, I will do fair distribution because I am not the union government here. Nizam Fauzdar, go ahead.
Sudha, the irony of the entire data that is out and the way Mr. Gurumurthy speaks is extremely shameful. Karnataka is the second number in terms of GST contribution.
Absolutely.
And it is... Yeah, it is about, 5% of the population is giving about 8.4% of the nation's GDP collection. And the problem is we are receiving only about 46,000 some odd crores from the for example, let me give you this. In 2018-19, the entire country's budget was about 24.4 lakh crores, and today it is about 48.20 lakh crores. And the contribution that has come to the state, Karnataka state, is about, it was 46,288 thousand crores, and today it is about 44,485 crores. And the same, that's a contribution. The budget of the country has increased from 24 to 48.
Right.
But the contribution that is coming to the state is just about 44,000 crores. And the contribution that we are receiving is meager. It's about 3-4%. But the states which are having highest Labharatis in the country, which is from the UP, Bihar, and Madhya Pradesh, which has been governed by the BJP for the last 25-30 years, and they have not done any development. लेकिन एक bridge एक दिन बिहार में गिरती है, लेकिन इन लोगों को शर्म नहीं आती है कि the states which are earning for the entire country are
exactly. I mean, 15% of the jobs. 15% of the jobs in industrial sector is given by Tamil Nadu. It is very, very fair. We need reforms in the Finance Commission. The Finance Commission has changed certain rules, but overall, this is very unfair. I see this is an unfair distribution of wealth. I want to ask Anand Gurumurthy, the thing is that the industrially, like what Nizam was saying, the industrially developed state received much less than a rupee for every rupee, much less than they contributed as against states like UP and Bihar. Don't you think, Anand Gur, let's not go into politics, but tomorrow it could be your government. Sir, it could be your government, and maybe who knows?
Not politics, Sidda. I'll ask you a logical question. Let me see how you answer this. So tomorrow you will say Chennai, Coimbatore, and Trichy, all these places, there are industries, they are contributing more. I will only do the development in these parts, not in other parts of Tamil Nadu. That's how you would say that.
They are part of Tamil Nadu, sir.
Is that what you're telling? So you will say, whatever taxes comes in Chennai, that will only be used in Chennai and not for the further development.
But infrastructure is, you see that wherever you have more industries, whether
your
it's
argument is going
you asked me a question.
And whenever I logically speak, nobody answers this.
No, you have to wait for the answer. Forward. You have to wait, sir. If the IT sector.
You are not waiting.
Yeah. So if Tirupur.
Yeah, please answer.
If Tirupur and Coimbatore and areas around that which produces textiles, if there are lots of them, you will see the infrastructure push there. Even during elections, you will see the push there. Now I am saying, you do very well, sir, as a Kannadiga. Your state, you should be proud of it. But you are thrown crumbs. So there should be reforms.
That is not true.
No, there should be reforms. No. Now if no, I don't believe. I don't. Politics is when they say, oh, the finance Nirmala Sitharaman ji has been, No. It's not about she from Karnataka or anyone. If you don't allow me to speak, this is what is equal distribution about. Yes,
no.
Thank
Madam,
you.
You're using the wrong word.
To say that Finance Commission does not have anyone from South India is politics. Everyone. We are one.
Sidda, madam, first of all, the word you use, the phrase you use, throwing crumbs, is not correct. Because this is a federal structure. Everything is going forward.
Exactly.
As planned, as agreed by all the states.
Why is it then
as
for 8 months?
agreed by all the states. Number one.
Okay. Mr. Siddaramaiah is very good. Why is it that since 8 months?
Why are you not letting me speak, madam?
Because
please,
you are just, whom are you defending?
Okay, you are just throwing your tantrums. That is not the way, right?
Go ahead and speak like a man from Bengaluru, no?
Please, let me speak, okay? So I try to explain how centers spends extra money, whether it is in the ports or whether it is in the railway lines, all these are infrastructure. See, Gati Shakti will only develop the southern states. Whatever Gati Shakti is happening and the amount being spent in Gati Shakti, it will change our whole 4 southern states, economy will become 10 times in the next 20 years because we are the states that have the sea.
The divisible, Anand, your time is, let me also say this, the divisible.
Whenever I say something logically or ask a logical
you
question,
can't take all the time, yeah. I also have a watch, no?
Yes, please distribute
I'm
the
doing
time
a
so
job.
that you get what you want.
The thing is that the divisible pool maybe can be expanded to include some part of the cess and surcharge. Do you think that's a good idea? Experts have been saying it. Let's look forward, no?
See, whatever is good for the country, that should happen. I am not against anything.
Very good.
And at the same time, my state should develop, my state benefits should happen, and that the center is taking care of. See, all these things are, part of the uniform vision of Gati Shakti. And who are the people who will be benefited because of
Nizam
Gati Shakti?
Faujdar, please come in here. This whole Gati, I've heard this, I respect Gati Shakti, but I can't be just listening to Gati Shakti. That is, otherwise, these Siddaramaiah, look, I am not going to kind of cherry pick on anyone, but Siddaramaiah, for one, knows his numbers. He's presented many, but the man is very astute and shrewd. He's not going to get people to say, okay, Stalin, Pinarayi, Revant, Chandrababu will of course not come. Everyone come, we will all agitate. It's taken 8 months, the needle hasn't moved, Nizam.
Absolutely good. Let me enlighten our dear friend Anand Gurumurthy. Anand, 2021-22, our tax contribution was 1,50,000 crores. 2022-23, 1,60,000 crores. 2023-24, 1,70,000 crores. 2024-25, 1,78,173 lakh crores. What has the central given as an incentive for doing so well as an economy as well as a contribution to the national exchequer?
Yeah, I think
you are taking everything from us and giving it, distributing as freebies. आप खड़े होके कहते हैं, प्रधानमंत्री कहते हैं, आपको कितना चाहिए, 1 लाख करोड़ चाहिए या 1,25,000 करोड़ चाहिए, वहां पे भी नहीं देते हैं, हम जो काम आता है उसको भी नहीं देते हैं. Sudha ji, a simple analogy. He's bringing the parallels of the railway budget to the national budget. You do whatever you want in the railway budget.
Yeah.
When it is the national budget, it is about your revenues, it is about your capital expenditure, it is about your
it's about capex,
it is about your opex, it is everything that comes under
the thing
it.
Is
and
that
he's saying, गति कौन सी गति है पता नहीं,
वो भी
पीछे वाली गति है या आगे वाली गति.
He is also
But the
right.
question
Gati
is,
Shakti is
Sudha
a very
ji, it's like
empowering scheme. All I'm saying is, I think there has to be a fair distribution in a federal structure. If we recognize federal cooperation as one of the mantras of this vibrant democracy, there have to be reforms. You cannot do this time and again, sir, because now it's also based on demographics, it's based on population, it's based on a lot of other things. We are controlling population, sir. You will see it in parliament. The states that I am talking about, and I have nothing against Uttar Pradesh or Bihar, हम हिंदी बोलते हैं, यही पैदाइश है हमारी, लेकिन प्रॉब्लम ये है कि उनको सुधरना पड़ेगा एंड द साउथ कैन नॉट बी शॉर्ट चेंज. आई एम सॉरी, आई हैव कंप्लीटली लॉस्ट run out of time. Thank you so much. Yes, quickly, 30 seconds, Nizam.
Yeah. It is like this, you know, in a family, the one son earns a lot of money and two sons are there who don't really bother but go around having pubbing and, you know, maza karte hue, ayashi karte hue, ghumte rehte. But the father and the mother keep saying, beta tumhe aur kaam karna chahiye, tumhe aur kaam karna chahiye, kyunki ye do bhai gareeb hai. Aisa nahi chalta hai. The last years, if the BJP is responsible, they should have made these 3 or 4 states even more empowered so that they could have contributed at large to the larger, you know, scheme of things in the country.
And the whole pub analogy is yours, not mine. Thank you very much, Nizam Faujdar. Thank you, Anand, for joining us on this broadcast. Lovely having you on the debate, as always. Thank you very much. And let's move on to the next story. SFIO questions Pinarayi Vijayan's daughter Veena in CMRL payoff scam. Opposition calls it a political stunt. That's the story. Kerala CM's daughter, that's Veena, grilled in the payoff case. I mean, it's a big story because imagine she's Pinarayi Vijayan's daughter. There's been a gold scam. There have been other scams, and Pinarayi has to now battle this also. Her name is Veena T. She's the daughter of Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan, and she was questioned in the Serious Fraud Investigation Office, which stands for SFIO, in Chennai. Recently, this questioning is part of an investigation into the alleged kickbacks received by her IT firm, which is called Excel Logic Solutions from Cochin Minerals and Util Limited, CMRL. Now, following the news, the Congress-led UDF accused the CPM and BJP of colluding ahead of the upcoming by-polls in Kerala. This has been going on, you know, that collusion since the Thrissur police report. Well, that's another debate. I'll do it someday. The BJP claimed the case reveals a connection between the LDF and UDF in the state. Now, T. Veena appeared before the SFIO last Wednesday for the second time. She had previously attended after the Karnataka High Court refused to stay the investigation in February. The centre ordered the SFIO to probe Exalogic, CMRL and the Kerala State Industrial Development Corporation. In response, opposition leader V.D. Satheesan called the questioning nothing but an election stunt. We have yet another story, and that's also coming from Kerala. Actor Bala has been arrested for defaming ex-wife Amrita and daughter, faces Juvenile Justice Act and outraging modesty charges. So that's the other story, and let me Alright, that's the story. Actor Bala has been arrested. Why? I'll tell you the story. The Ernakulam police arrested actor Bala, alias Balakumar, following a complaint filed by his ex-wife Amrita Suresh. In her plaint, Amrita accused Bala of insulting her through social media posts and claimed that his videos had emotionally harmed their daughter. Bala had previously alleged that Amrita was preventing him from seeing their daughter. However, the girl later shared a video on Instagram detailing the emotional distress she and her mother experienced due to her father's behavior. Now, after the video was posted, Bala himself posted another video which led to a massive war of words between the fans of the actor and netizens. Now, in the meantime, Bala's driver, who worked along with him for 3 years, revealed that the actor had assaulted his previous wife Amrita multiple times and had misbehaved with her on many occasions in front of his own daughter and relatives. The driver also added that Amrita was under deep stress and mental trauma. Now, Bala's manager has also been taken into custody, and both arrests were made at the actor's flat in Kochi. According to Kadavantra police, Bala has been charged with outraging the modesty of a woman and faces additional charges under the Juvenile Justice Act. Let's listen into what Bala had to say. All right, then the South Indian brought you many stories today, but as promised, the South Indian will leave you with the other top stories from, of course, the south of India. Thank you so much for watching. Vanakkam.